Hey everyone, it's your favorite shaggy dude, trimmer of the pubes, Yammie Noob. You look a little lonely and bored, come sit next to Papa Yams and let's talk about some cruisers. If you're born and bred for crotch rockets, this video isn't for you yet. There will be a day when your back goes out more than you do and a cruiser will be next in your stable. Trust me, no matter how much you want to do something, your body has the final say in it. In true Yammie Noob fashion, I'm going to list amazing cruiser motorcycles in tier form. S is the God tier, and then A through F corresponds to awesome bikes and the ones we really don't want to ride. Let's get going. F tier. Two brands that come to mind for the F tier, and that's Royal Enfield and Hyosung. I'm sorry guys, but these are just F tier brands in this category. Both are relatively cheap and inexpensive. The Royal Enfield company has been through its fair share of ups and downs. I can't vouch as to whether these bikes are the best or not, but their lineup consists of bikes around the $6,000 mark. The company has been in good standing as of recent and touts having produced a model of motorcycle for the longest amount of time. Two models are available in the US. If anything, the Royal Enfield might be a great beginner bike, but they haven't gained traction in the US market to really be considered anyone's competition just yet. Now, cue my entire Indian audience telling me that Royal Enfield actually is the greatest motorcycle ever made. Hyosung. I don't even know if this company is still around. They have had a line of cruisers known as the ST7, GV650, and the GV250. There's actually even a 125cc Hyosung cruiser that I saw the other day. Pretty crazy. A well-rounded lineup for beginners trying to dabble in the world of cruisers, but this company's biggest issues are consistency and retaining brand value. With bikes ranging from $4 to $9 grand, they seem reasonably priced until you realize that they're hard to find, no one has really heard of them, and they're probably going to try to fix them and have a problem reselling them. You can always sell a cruiser from Harley or the Big Four because people know these brands. You know what other brand people know? Manscaped. That's right, this video is brought to you by Manscaped, my dudes. I'm excited to be one of the first to confirm that the new Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof body trimmer has just been released. Guys, this thing is ridiculous. I've told you about it in the other video. 7,000 RPM limit, higher power, more torque, gonna lop your nuts clean off. Just kidding. They have a no-nick guarantee. If it nicked your sack, you send it back. How good is that? It's going to use the same blade from the Lawnmower 2.0, so it's 100% compatible. It's got the quiet stroke technology, so you have fun telling your mom about that. That's going to be great. It's got 90 minutes of battery life that rapidly charges on a dock powered by a USB. That's actually a really great improvement over the old one. It has a built-in LED lights that illuminates grooming areas for closer, more precise trimming. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know that we're huge fans of Manscaped because they support what we do and we love them. Use the code YAMMIE20 at checkout to get yourself 20% off the new Lawnmower 3.0 package. Hit the link below. YAMMIE20 is going to get you 20% off. You guys already know what it is. These things are badass, and I use one on the weekly because I certainly don't do it on the daily. My pubes don't grow that fast. Anyways, let's keep it rolling today. E tier. So you really want to get into cruisers, huh? Hey kid, there's a Buell Blast down here. If marijuana is the gateway drug and the Gixxer 600 is the gateway squid missile, then the Buell, well, that's your gateway cruiser bike. Why? Harley-Davidson was in cahoots with Buell, as they acquired 49% of the company in the early 90s, and for Harley-Davidson beginner's course, just like the MSF, but normally hosted at the Harley dealership, they used Buell as their choice of trainer bikes. Big, bulky, and complete with the banana seat. If you've ever dreamed of being in Sons of Anarchy, you wouldn't want to be caught dead on one of these. Instead, after the course, new riders are walking through the Harley dealership looking at cruisers, brand shiny new cruisers with price tags well over $6 grand. Buell, you E-tier brand, you're the reason why so many would-be street Rossis chose the cruiser life instead. Gateway. Sad. Buell is no longer in business, but the bikes are available on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. This brand is E-tier because it's not the absolute worst, but it really isn't the best either. At least you can still find parts for these things. D-tier. Our next tier is the D-tier, and which brand do you think it is? Well, it's Harley-Davidson. Wait, Yammie, come on. Yeah, Harley cannot be the D-tier cruiser brand. That's absolutely ridiculous. No, my young squidlets, let me preach. This is my job, in my opinion. Hear me out. Harley-Davidson has a long and illustrious history in America and has done extremely well for themselves. But are they the best cruisers? No. The reason being is that they're like the McDonald's of cruisers. There is always a Harley dealership near you, just like the Golden Arches. Could their designs be updated? Yes. Do they try sometimes too hard to capture other markets? Yes. For me, Harley-Davidson is just a brand turned into a cult-like following. Yes, just like Busas, Harleys have tons of merch and tons of fans. There's actually a big overlap between Cruiser Boys and Busa Boys. This is something that I'm working on the back end over here at Yammie Noob HQ, working on my dissertation here, my PhD in the Busa Cruiser overlap, and I will have the research out for you guys very soon. We're discussing it, we're trying to figure out what's going on here. When you look at their sales figures, they're not good. They've experienced a long run of declining sales, and they need to do something to become relevant again, which is why they are trying a lot of experimental things, which I think is great. Some other tier brands are simply better options. Sometimes I don't think Harley-Davidson listens to their riders. They're clawing at the idea there will be a resurgence of cruiser riders, but that's probably not going to be the case. C tier. Things are starting to get a little bit better now, especially if you're Indian motorcycles. As a company, they've won the award for Best Comeback. Indian has been around for over 100 years, but has changed hands, gone bankrupt, and experienced lots of hardships. The company came back officially when it was purchased by Polaris, yep, the company that makes the Knot motorcycle Slingshot. Polaris also owned Victory motorcycles, so we'll put them in the C tier as well, even though they're not around anymore. Indian motorcycles have been producing cruisers, tourers, baggers, and flat track inspiring bikes like the FTR 1200. As a company, they're witnessing profit and growth while the rest of the industry is down. Victory is a brand created by Polaris to directly compete with Harley-Davidson. Victory had V-powered cruisers and aimed to capture the young and hip crowd and was looking for a cruiser bike. Victory went under in 2017, but its sister company Indian made it. B tier. So the entire B tier is going to be the big four from Japan. Now, why is that? We call them the metric cruisers, as it were. They seem to not go out of style ever. They have their own individual cult-like following, and they're a whole lot cheaper than Harleys or other American brands. Honda's best cruisers are the Fury, the radical style chopper that draws looks and attention wherever it goes, followed by the Shadow, the CTX 700N, and the Rebel. A devoted following for the Rebel exists, trust me, my dudes. Honda has a path of progression, and for the most devout brand followers, and honestly, Honda never disappoints. For Kawasaki, their best cruisers are the Vulcan lineup and the W800 Cafe Racer-ish type of bike. It's kind of a standard old school holdover UJM in a way. The Vulcan models were introduced in 1984, and Kawasaki has kept the lineup fresh with new engine displacements and added features. Now, Suzuki's well-known cruiser is the Boulevard. Known for its comfort, low seat height, and classic styling, this bike has been produced exactly the same since the 1980s. So when it was one of the big fours onto something the rest seemed to follow, Suzuki has made changes to their lineup in regard to engine displacement and available technology, but the bike remains mostly the same. In all honesty, I think the Boulevard's probably your best bet for the Metro Cruisers. I've heard nothing but good things about them, and they are pretty sweet. But we cannot forget Yamaha and a very special motorcycle they made back in the 80s, and I didn't forget about them. Yamaha has been on and off with the Star brand of motorcycles, but they've actually never stopped producing their cruiser line, the V-Star. They produce the Bolt and the V-Max, so there's a couple models to choose from. The V-Star 250 is an excellent introduction to the world of V-twin cruisers, while the V-Max is the OG muscle bike V4 with 1749 cc's of soul-crushing torque. The V-Max is another one of those bikes that has an extreme cult-like following. Just ask Shade Tree Surgeon about it. A tier. Well, I guess you're wondering what bikes made it above the rest. The first, well, it's Triumph. Yes, Triumph. Not only do they make awesome crotch rockets for the track, like my sweet Daytona 675R, oh, the greatest sport bike ever made, they also make insanely awesome cruisers for the street. Enter the Rocket 3 with, you guessed it, 3 cylinders. This bad boy has the biggest engine in production motorcycle at 2500 cc's. It's basically like ratchet strapping a Gixxer 1000 engine to your Hayabusa and then dropping a Suzuki Van on top of it. This bike is a torque monster, and a refined one at that. With 163 foot-pounds of torque, it will shred tire and pavement and, of course, launch you into the goddamn sun. Triumph makes the list because they've made a cruiser that's fun, comfortable, and an absolute blast to ride. It isn't the run-of-the-mill bikes from the Big Four or Harley. It has a distinct and unique styling along with a giant engine. Moto Guzzi. Every time I make any kind of list, someone in the comments mentions this brand. Are you not pleased? Are you not satisfied? The Moto Guzzi line of cruisers include the MGX-21, California 1400 Touring, the Audazzi Carbon, and the Eldorado. An Italian manufacturer, Moto Guzzi's been around for quite some time. They produced affordable styled European bikes and been known for a refined company. They're not very well known, but the right people know what they are. Much like Aprilia's, everyone thinks they're just ninjas or Gixxers or something like that. The Moto Guzzi is known for its transverse V-twin engine design. The cylinders protrude to the left and right of the engine, giving it a very unique look. Now let us gaze upon the S God tier. We finally made it. We are at the S tier. Who thought we would make it here? Well, we are here now. And now, for our very first S tier motorcycle cruiser brand, it's Ducati. If you didn't see that one coming, then I guess you don't me or even know Ducati's bikes in general. The Ducati has the X Diavolo Cruiser, which is the only cruiser to use a desmodromic engine. Yes, Ducati's signature. It has a 1262cc Testatretta twin, pumping out 152 ponies and 93 foot-pounds of torque. With a price tag starting at $20,995, it's an affordable Ducati in the cruiser marketplace, especially when considered against some Harley Davidson. And for some serious cruising and spirited riding, you can really get it on a Diavolo. They're freaking sweet. Now, the last brand on our list, and the second to be in the S tier, is Arch Motorcycles. What in the Keanu Reeves am I talking about? If you didn't catch our video on Arch, then you probably should. Jay Leno has nothing but great things to say about Keanu and Guard's products. The Arch motorcycles are made to order and are built with mostly CNC machining technology. They're literally all handmade. You won't find any manufacturing flaws in these bikes, as they are built by passionate folks for the riding looking for performance cruisers and perfection. Arch currently has 3 models, the KRGT1, the 1S, and the Method 143. Powered by either the 124 cubic inch or the 143 cubic inch V-twins, these are some of the biggest engines you can find on a cruiser. I always knew Keanu was a squid. Not just aimed at having cruiser looks, these bikes were designed for performance and handling as well. The bikes cost upwards of $80,000, but for something that Keanu Reeves has perfected, it's well worth it. Well, I guess it's time to flame me. What did you think about today's cruiser bike list? Did I miss a brand? I probably did. What are your experiences on these motorcycles? Please let me know in the comments below about your favorite cruisers and the experiences you've had on cruiser motorcycles. I always love hearing from you guys. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Fact: vampire bats can recognize the sound of their prey breathing. This is how they determine which victim they've previously fed on before. That's so weird. Goodbye.